So we're saying movies supposed to be seen on the big screen, but like they're now going on streaming. Do you think that that's what the future's going to be? Like, is streaming and no more cinemas?
I don't think so. I think cinemas might we might see less of them,
Hmm.
but I don't think they'll ever go away.
Right.
I think they'll always be around. In fact, one of my friends, I'm going to give him a shout out, even though he didn't pay me. But he's opening a movie theater called I think it's called the Cinema 35 or the 35 Cinema. I don't exactly remember, but his name's John Lohman. He used to own a company called Animation Inc. Archive
Hmm.
that sells animation cells. And if you're a fan of what's his name, Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith buys a lot of stuff from Animation Inc. Archive. He's like obsessed with animation cells. But anyways, my friend John ended up moving to Vegas and opening a theater there, and I think it's still in the process of opening because of COVID. It's not open yet, but now he's taking the time to really, renovate and do all the things he needs to do. So his whole gimmick is that he's running real film reels, real 35 millimeter film. You know what I mean? And it plays classics like his. I think one of his premieres is going to be Jaws.
Nice.
And the thing is, the lobby is now filled with actual Jaws props. So, and then after the movie, after the premiere of Jaws at that theater, if you're the first group to watch, when the movie's over, there's a Q&A with the cast and crew,
Oh wow.
or as many of them as he could get.
That's
So he's now using his like connections that he's made working in entertainment to do something else, and I think that's brilliant. And that's why I think cinemas will never go away, because something like that, like, why not? That's great to be around. So I think it will become slowly more of a niche thing,
mm,
a niche hobby, if you will.
mm,
But like I said, I don't think it'll ever go away.
yeah. I mean, I have friends like one of my close high school friends. Like, she's really into cinema. Like, if she knew I was talking to you, she'd be so jealous. It would just be hilarious. Um, but like, if ever they have something in London where you've got like the cast and crew, she will be there. But I think she went to a thing in somewhere in London, probably Covent Garden, where they had a thing with Tommy Wiseau. I was like, that's so cool. Like, I was like,
That's
okay,
funny.
that's kind of fun. But like, I
Did
mean,
I show you? I show you my pictures with him?
no, I don't think you did. No,
Oh,
you have
yeah,
to send
that
me
guy's a
them.
character.
Yeah, I can imagine. He seems like quite a.
And so I designed this jacket. A lot of jackets don't have enough pockets. This is one I make. It's 10 pockets. It's a very good design. Okay, you have to buy. Okay, next question. Okay.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's exactly what he said to me. And it was funny because I didn't. I talked to right after that. I talked to his oh, I'm brain farting right now. His friend Greg Sestero.
Hmm.
And I told him, I'm a visual effects artist, and I worked on Walking Dead. He's like, oh, awesome. So he was, I think at the time they were working on his movie Friends,
Hmm.
and I was hoping to work with him just because, why not? Tommy Wiseau. I'd love to work with
Yeah,
Tommy Wiseau just to say I did.
yeah,
Unfortunately, nothing came of it, but
mhm,
it happens. So
yeah. That would be sweet.
sorry, he went off topic. It's just Tommy Wiseau. That guy's such a character.
No, it's cool. I love Tommy Wiseau. He's so
Yeah,
random.
I met him at Amoeba Records, and then after that, I talked to him again at one of his screenings of The Room,
Oh wow.
because my wife had never actually seen it. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go see it with Tommy, and she's like, what? I'm like, yes, we're gonna go see it with Tommy Wiseau. You'll love it. And she's like, what do you mean with? I'm like, you'll see. And so we show up, and he's like, oh yeah, Yoshi, I mean Amoeba Records. I remember you. You do the movies. Like, no, you don't. You don't remember. Like, I just said that 2 seconds ago. That's the reveal of the joke. It's a reverse reveal. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm like, because I went up and I was like, hey, I'm Yoshi. I met your Amoeba Records. Oh, Yoshi, Amoeba. I remember. Like, no, you don't. But and then it's like he talked about his jacket, and anyway, and then we watched the movie, and then he comes up and he does an answer after, does a Q&A after the movie, and
Mm,
it's all fun and games, and there people scream and talk during the movie. It's great. If you ever have a chance to see it live, like a screening at a theater on Hollywood Boulevard with Tommy Wiseau there,
yeah.
I highly recommend it. It is a great experience, and he does it all the time. So he's like there almost every night. So, you know, at least he used to. I don't know about anymore. You know,
Yeah.
he's actually like a bigger star now because of Disaster Artist. So
Yeah.
so there's a part where he takes a cassette, voice recorder
Yeah.
to try to catch his girlfriend cheating or whatever, and he puts it on a table and he puts the tablecloth over it or something, and it's very obvious it's sitting right there, like you're not hiding anything. Some guy in the audience, I don't know why it got me so hard. The one guy in the audience yelled out, "Pretty slick there, Tommy." And I just started laughing. Like, I don't know why that was so funny. I don't know why. The guy, because that was one of the few parts where it was pretty quiet, and he hides the cassette recorder. "Pretty slick there, Tommy." It's like, oh wow, okay, that's hilarious.
Have you ever been to a Rocky Horror Picture Show showing?
I have not.
Oh, those,
I've heard it is fun.
yeah. People all dressed up, and like you have to have the props at the right moment of the film.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
See, that's why I think cinemas would never go away.
Right.
It's things like that. Like I still haven't been able to go, and we made plans to go this year, but thanks to COVID, all of a sudden now things change. But I was gonna go to Blobfest. You
Blobfest?
know, I okay. So you know the movie The Blob?
Yeah.
They show it in the actual theater where the movie takes place.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
That's
you go
pretty
there, and
cool.
it's a whole like event. The whole town's involved. It's like Blobfest, and people dress up like the 50s, and
Oh
you
wow.
walk around. It's like traveling through time. It's like you just went back to the 50s.
That's so cool. One of the things I've noticed with like movies is I saw something, so apparently drive-throughs are becoming a thing again in America.
Yeah. I
Drive.
mean, they never went away completely,
Mhm.
but they're coming back.
And do you think that's to do with COVID?
Oh yes, 100%.
Yeah.
That's it's like you can just stay in your car and then you tune into the proper station and you're good.
Yeah. I mean, because I remember watching an AVGN episode where they went to one of the last drive-throughs.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that. And they made an announcement, right? Like, oh, we have the AVGN here.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, I mean, it seems like such a fun idea. It's just not something you would get over here.
Why not?
I I don't think we have enough space.
Does no one have like a parking garage?
Well, like no, not really. Like I mean, the cinemas I went to in London, there was a car park out the front, but they have so many screens like in one cinema
Hmm.
showing so many movies. The idea of having one screen for one movie would just be.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something where it could be a park where everybody's, very far apart and projected on the side of a building or something. That'd be fun, like a
Oh yeah,
picnic
they've
style.
done that in London. Like they've done that in London where they've had like things in parks where they've had like people have brought picnics and they projected it on a big screen out in the park and stuff. So
Yeah,
that's been done, but a drive-in, never so much.
yeah.
But I think that'd be, especially now, it'd be a good idea, I think. So, final question. How do you see the industry evolving?
I so this is a good question because it goes along with another question that somebody else asked me once, and they said, why is it that the Star Wars films are held in such high regard by me?
Mhm.
And I always said it's less about the story to me. It's about what each trilogy basically innovated for the film industry, or each new Star Wars, it, they innovate new filming techniques, like with the Mandalorian. They
Mhm.
have like the real time, projected sets now, which
Mhm.
is incredible. That's a huge leap. And of course, everybody knows, Lucasfilm ILM was started with the original trilogy. So I see new innovations in ways of filmmaking that make the process easier. So that because the end goal is to get your vision across, and the evolution is how to make it easier and easier to achieve your vision on the big screen.
Mhm.
So yeah, I know that's not very complex of an answer, but I just see continued innovation in areas like like CG. My guess is that like with deepfake technology, for example, I think that's like incredible. Like it's
Mhm.
machine learning. I could even imagine something like, imagine in the future we go buy a movie, and the new whatever 26K players we have or whatever we're using or whatever we're streaming the movie. Imagine if you can now be like, oh, I want to watch Gone with the Wind, but I want it to be with Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston instead.
Mm,
and with their voices. Or you can put in a movie for your child, your little boy, your little girl, or all your kids, and be like, oh, I want them to watch Power Rangers now, but they're the Power Rangers.
mm,
Things like that. I feel like that's the next step is, kind of like Netflix did Bandersnatch,
mm,
because I feel like the lines between movies and games will start to blur
mm,
in that. And I feel like it's already happening in a sense. We have games that are almost basically just interactive movies. So I do think one of the next steps is maybe customizable movies.
mm.
You know what I mean? Make a
Yeah.
movie that adj- I wouldn't say adjusts itself, that can be suited for people. Like everybody that watched Bandersnatch and played it might have had a different experience.
Mm,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? So imagine now if you can watch a movie like, oh, instead of instead of a movie trying to shoehorn in a Chinese actor to cater to the Chinese market, or shoehorn in a product placement item for whatever. Imagine if they could actually cater to each country in that way. Like, oh, we're releasing this movie in Japan, but it's going to be with Japanese actors, and now actors get paid based on their likeness or something.
Mm,
They'll come in and read lines, and to get a voice analysis, to get scanned, and do a performance of some sort for performance capture to analyze. It might be a whole different way of acting. It might
yeah.
be less now, like instead of going and acting the role, you go in and give the computer data,
Mm.
machine learning data. I don't know. Like I'm going like really far out there
No,
now, but
it's interesting because like hearing you talk about that, it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier with the whole fact that with COVID, the industries had to shut down and stuff,
mhm.
and it sort of makes you think, well, if that if this sort of thing happens again, that might be where we end up being. What instead of actors actually going onto film sets and filming things, that it would be done like that.
Yeah. I mean, even I don't know if this is true or not. From what I've read or heard, I think like Pedro Pascal, he doesn't even show up on set sometimes because he's
Yeah.
not in the costume. It's a stuntman or another performer. He's just doing the voice.
Right.
So I mean, if that's the case, what's the point of coming on set?
True.
Especially if it's a stuntman anyway that's doing fight scenes and stunts.
Mm,
I'm not. I mean, I don't know how much of it he does himself, and he might do a lot of it himself. So I don't want to take that away from him. But
mm,
I'm just saying, like, if you're not needed, why pay an actor more than you need to pay them if you're only using their voice? And now the production is more affordable.
mm,
The production is cheaper, which hopefully benefits everyone.
mm,
The consumer has a lower price product, hopefully, and the rest of the people, maybe they can get paid more now because there's more money in the budget. You can put more money into something else, maybe better props, better sets. I mean, not that they don't look great already, but
mm.
so
Do you think that motion capture, like, because obviously when video games they do motion capture, anyone can be in the motion capture suit. What matters most is where you film the actor playing the role, their face as the role.
yes.
Do you think that that is the direction cinema could go in as well?
uh it's kind of like, I feel like it's already almost there. Like I said, with the deep fake technology,
Right.
it's like they can have a database, they can have machine learning that
Mm,
learns emotions and
yeah.
say, "Hey, oh, I need this actor to be like this way." But there's something to be said for the human touch that you can never replicate. At least not yet anyway. I
Mm.
don't know, right? We're gonna have some super Terminator computer in the future figuring us
Wait till
all
the
out.
PS5 comes out.
So here's the thing. I gotta ask you. Well, no, we'll go on that later after this because I don't want to
Okay.
go off on a tangent. But so I hope that answers your question. Is that
It
like I
does.
said, I think machine learning and real time production, real time post production. Well, I guess it wouldn't be post really if it's real time, right?
Mm,
But real time effects, like in the Mandalorian, as well as machine learning, I think those are two big things that might have a huge impact on visual effects in the future.
mhm. Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for giving your time for the interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will put a link in the description for Yoshi's website, his Twitter account, and all that kind of stuff. So you guys can follow him on all that. Check him out. He's awesome. Thank you so much, Yoshi.
Thank you.
And I'll see you guys next time.